been a while since I've seen an album that's been this polarizing one way or the other. But Busta Rhymes dropped ELE2 𝗀𝗲 𝗀𝗱, and it's the marketing behind it is dope. He's dropped a couple dope videos, and I see people talking about it everywhere. And I don't see too much iffiness in relation to the album. I see hard on one side or hard on the other side, some in between, but I hadn't seen too many people, that's kind of in the middle. So my question to you all is, and we'll toss it around the room in terms of, we can keep it short and we can continue to go around, but overreaction from what you guys are seeing, or underappreciation as it relates to ELE. I'll talk after you guys talk, but Lone, talk to me, man. How did you feel about it?
I am in the middle.
Okay.
One of those guys. I was really looking forward to it, especially after because of what everybody was saying. There were a lot of really good reviews for this. I was like, all right, sweet. But there are definitely a handful of songs that I could absolutely do without.
Okay.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad project. I just think that there are too many songs for right now. And I think the project definitely plays off of the first Extinction Level Event, which is dope because it's a great record. And I'm definitely on record on this show many times, praising Busta Rhymes as being one of the best ever. And so I'm a huge Busta Rhymes fan. I was impressed by some of the things. I really like the Rick Ross joint. I like the Kendrick joint. I like the intro. I like I thought that what did he flip? It was like a
Poison.
The Poison flip was crazy. But at the same time, I didn't like the song. I thought the flip and the way that he rapped to it was dope, but I'm never gonna listen to it again. Which is cool, but Busta was on his shit lyrically. I just think that there are a lot of throwaways, or maybe not a lot. I would probably keep it at maybe around 10 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has album of the year off 10 to 12 of them probably, but there's 22 songs on here.
Okay.
But some of the ones that I really liked are some of the, they're really dope. I wasn't a fan of 𝗲 either. I don't know. The video was weird too. But overall, I liked it.
Spoolz, talk to me, man. ELE experience.
I don't do Facebook, Twitter, or any of that shit, like any social media. So I don't know what everybody else was saying.
That's even better.
So I just listened to it. I like it a lot. I think it's a really, really well done conceptual album, kind of to what Sean's point, to still kind of branching off of the ELE1 album, you know what I mean? Just from a conceptual standpoint. I like, and Sean, I think you brought this up in maybe a community chat or something, but last week we were talking about nostalgia. This album has a nostalgic feeling, but it's much more.
Absolutely.
It's because the Bell Biv DeVoe joint is chopped from,
mm-hmm.
the old Bell, the old BBD joint. The song with Eminem is chopped from House of Pain, Jump Around.
Yeah.
It's just a chop of that beat or whatever.
And just really quick, a lot of the production sounds similar to old school Busta stuff too, which kind of that kind of took me back. I was like, oh shit, there's some beats on there I did not expect to hear.
Yeah.
But that I would only hear Busta Rhymes rap on. But anyways.
I really like the joint with Anderson .Paak because I feel like that's it's a newer sounding joint. And it's Busta's way. And I like when MCs our age or older can kind of use the style of today, and they end up sounding better than, a lot of today's rappers or MCs doing it. Kendrick is good at doing that as well, I feel like. I liked 𝗲 a lot. I like MOP. That's another one where it's a little homage to Annie Up, right?
Yeah.
The video I thought was actually really cool. I know it's long, but I don't know if anybody knows who T. Rogers is, but he makes a cameo in that video. If you know who that is, look him up. But no, man, I liked it a lot. I think it's a really, really good good album that will will still sound good in like 5 years. So
I can dig it. Jay Moore, what were your thoughts? And then I'll have you wrap it up, Terry.
Well, I'm one of these people that I kind of block out the noise of all the people who will declare an album that came out at 12 midnight a classic at 12:40.
Preach, my brother. So preach.
I just really was excited to hear a Busta Rhymes album, and to hear a Busta Rhymes album that sounded like a Busta Rhymes album. For some people, that is a bad thing. I really, didn't really sit with it until yesterday. But I've run it probably about 2 or 3 times, and I think, to Sean's point, there are a couple of songs that I think are reaches. Like, honestly, I didn't feel the either R&B collaboration, not the one with Mary J, or really, he could have really kept that shit he did with Mariah Carey. But I understand if you can get a Mariah Carey feature, you get yourself a Mariah Carey feature.
I didn't like the reggae joint either.
Yeah, the one with Vybz Kartel, I actually like that. It's not one of my favorites, but I could deal with it. And I could have done with a lot less Chris Rock, even though like he's one of my favorite comedians. I was like, all right, how long? Where are we really going with this? But and it's a crazy thing because it's an expensive sounding record. If that makes any sense, for them to just do an interlude with Michael Jackson singing, what was it, Never Can Say Goodbye, and leading into the next track, and then what's cool, when I hear the records like the joint with because I hear him, like, what's really cool about him flipping stuff that I was like, I've heard this beat, but I can't place it. And like one of the ones he did was it was Jill Scott. It was the same beat Jill Scott had used for this song back in the day off her live album called High Post Brother. I don't know, that was probably a sample too, so I'm not snitching. But
the ODB joint was really cool, I thought.
Gonna talk about that one.
Yeah. So I was actually, surprised at how much I liked it, because look, there's no need to try to reinvent the wheel and try to, switch up your formulas and your flows to try to fit 2020. Because, when I want to hear a Busta Rhymes album, I want to hear I don't want to hear Busta Rhymes and Future and Lil Baby or what, nothing against those cats. But, when it's time for a Busta Rhymes album, I want a Busta Rhymes album. And you know what? I got a Busta Rhymes album, so I'm happy about it.
You make a really good point, Jay. This does sound like a Busta Rhymes album, and I think that's a very key part of it too, like the nostalgic feel of it. Because even the records that I don't really like, that kind of sound like B-side records a little bit, they still feel like old school Busta joints, and like I still get it. Like, I don't hate them, but it's like. Yeah,
and they're not trash because they sound like old Busta records.
It sounds like Busta records. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
Man.
That's to that point real quick before you jump in. Like, buddy of mine made the point. I think it's Skits. Shout out to Skits. That you hear the progression with Busta Rhymes. Like, this isn't Busta Rhymes of 8 years ago or Busta Rhymes.
True.
You can tell he continued to work on his craft, man, and it shines through.
It doesn't feel like he lost a step, and he's not trying to fill his album with a whole bunch of hot new artists to kind of, for lack of a better term, prop him up. Like, he's still the star of his album.
Yep.
And sometimes when some of these golden age artists, if you will, they'll come back and they got a couple of crutches there. They're like, all right, let me do this for the West Coast. Let me go ahead and do this for the girls. Let me go ahead and do this for down south. Like I said, Busta Rhymes made a Busta Rhymes album, and that's nothing to be mad at.
Jay Diff, talk to me, bro.
I think overall the Busta Rhymes album is outstanding in my honest opinion. And it kind of goes back to my point last week when I was talking about how T.I. was saying that Busta Rhymes is so old school that he doesn't match up with him, which style-wise they don't match up for a battle per se. But he constantly elevated and kept himself in the ties with the changing times to where he's still relevant and can drop an album like Extinction Level Event 2 that, like you said, isn't an ode to, it gives you a nostalgic feel, but it doesn't sound old. It just sounds like, that it's a great follow-up to Extinction Level Event 1, because artists generally that try to follow the footsteps of that last great album that they did, or wouldn't necessarily say the last great album that they did, but a great album, a follow-up to, like, how Raekwon did Only Built for Human Links 2.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel it's similar.
It's that wasn't as good as Extinction Level Event 2, in my honest opinion. I don't think so. A lot of artists fall into that, trying to live up to that hype and that feel of that first original album, and they missed the mark. These features that he had on there, they play with him very well. It doesn't sound like he's trying. I mean, he's staying true to himself. He's still spitting. I remember somebody saying that the Kendrick verse was whack. I don't know how they figured that Kendrick verse was whack. I didn't hear that at all.
You gotta leave them people alone. Just leave them.
Hey man,
alone,
man. I gotta say though, that Raekwon, to me, it's similar to the Raekwon. The
Raekwon was good. I'm not saying that the Raekwon was whack. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, it was a quintessential like that Raekwon
album, whereas just like this is a quintessential Busta Rhymes album.
Okay, I can G for that, but I just kind of, I don't know, the feeling of this Busta Rhymes, I think it is just needed at this time. It's kind of like around the election time in 2008, first term for Obama, when Jeezy dropped The Recession. Yeah, I don't know how y'all felt at that time, but that album really fit what was going on, like from top to bottom. This Extinction Level Event 2 is kind of reminiscent to that, as far as with this election going on and just that feel, that energy behind it. It kind of gives me that type feel, especially with like the track with Minister Farrakhan on the speaking. Starting off the album with a feature from Rakim, with production from Pete Rock. I mean, it's just a solid hip hop album. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's hitting on every cylinder. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some songs that he could have missed me with, but overall, it's the average on there is very, very solid. And again, I want to reiterate, I don't dislike Only Built for Human Links 2. No. It's just, this is a different energy for me. And I don't know. I feel it. It's a solid offering from Busta Rhymes.
Well, you know what?
Biden like 131, right, Trump 92. Just real quick.
Thanks, Spoolz. Appreciate it.
Yeah, with Trump ahead in the popular vote by like a little over 1.1 million.
We know how that works. As for myself, man, I think I agree with what you guys are saying from a standpoint of having a couple joints, taking a few of the joints off. Like, I think he damn near would have had a classic if he just trimmed it down just a little bit, cut a couple of those joints out. But it doesn't sound old. It's not like those are the things that I continuously see. Man, this sounds old. It sounds old. I see people saying it sounds old. No, it doesn't sound old. It sounds like an up-to-date Busta Rhymes album. You know what I'm saying? Like, the production on here is stupid. Knots went off. Like, Knots produced the intro. Having a crispy Rakim verse come in with the pianos, when they dropped it out for the pianos and him rapping over that, like, I thought that was beautiful. Like, and it all lines up perfect for a Busta Rhymes album. Like, the beat for the joint with ODB is stupid. That doesn't sound old. Like, that beat is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's production on here that's high level, top tier production. You know what I'm saying? And I will say this, I was in on the Poison joint, but after listening to it again, I'm like, nah, I'm cool. So I agree with you on that long. The flip is cold, and the
way he rapped it was cool, but it's just I'm more excited about the way
featuring Bill Bivolo.
Who just said that? Was that Was that Spoolz? They said too busy.
I said it's just too busy, man.
Yeah. That's
he
it.
Said, it's just
that's the Busta Rhymes shit, though.
It is totally. It is. Yeah. It's very abrasive. You know what I'm saying?
That's why it's okay.
But it's like it was kind of like I was listening to that. It was like an overload. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was too much.
I'm cool on the Poison joint.
Yeah, that one was a little over the top, and then the one where he says Megan Thee Stallion and like his little patois type little
yeah. Like the joint.
I was kind of cool on that.
Spoolz, I disagree with Czar. I think the beat for Czar is trash. Like I really think that beat is trash. Really? Like I'm Czar. It doesn't do anything for me, bro.
It sounds very like epic and very like good start, like dun 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 dun. Like it's just very, I don't know. And maybe it couples well with the video and shit, I think.
I didn't like the video either.
And I like the video. I love this MOP sprinkle, like the Annie Up little sprinkles.
I like that they were in the video. That was dope.
Yeah.
That shit was fire. I see they try to make a play on 300. That was dope. I don't think Busta Rhymes puts out whack videos ever. If y'all can name one, that's cool. But I think all of his
really dope videos.
But overall, man, I would just trim it down. Like the joint with Q-Tip is so fire to me.
Yeah, I
Stop
agree.
and focus. That joint is cold.
Kendrick's verse was dope. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True indeed. What that Primo did, that joint is fire. The joint with Rick Ross is fire. Yeah. I love the joint with Anderson .Paak.
Without Rick Ross's verse, but other than that, yeah.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Surprise.
I know, right?
Jay Moore's over there like, he's a dope rapper, Brad. Quit saying that.
But the thing is, I heard that and I was like, yeah, Spoolz is not gonna like this record.
I'm not gonna like that at all.
It's a really dope record though. But Busta snapped on that record too.
And he snapped. Yeah, he snapped.
You just hear the difference between the quality of the MCs too, and you know.
So my take on I'm cool on the Mariah Carey joint too, and I love Mariah, but I'm cool. But overall, man, I think it's a good album, man. I do not think I'm kind of where it sounds like all of us are kind of in the same area. We just like different parts about it. I don't think it's a classic. I never do 24-hour classics anyway. I hate that shit. But it's a good album, man. Like I like it. There are multiple joints on here that I will continue to play. And no, the shit's not outdated, and no, it don't sound old or none of that stuff that people pull. It doesn't sound like any of that. Like I'm cool with it, and it sounds like a good effort from Busta. He definitely still on his shit lyrically. No fall off there. I don't know who said it. It might have been Jay Moore talking about him carrying the album. He definitely carried the album. He was not carried by any features. So I like it, man. I rock with it, but just trim it down. That's my only thing. I would trim it down a little bit.
Dropping science.
He might mess around. Oh, he's dropping science. There's plenty of meat and potatoes on this joint, but Lone has always talked about, his ability to still make hit records in the midst of, dropping that meat and potatoes. He's so versatile. Like, you really can't pigeonhole him. You can't say
that's why I can't. That's why even though I said everything I said, like I still can't be mad at him for dropping 22 records because it sounds like a Busta record. Like he's all over the place, Yeah. And none of the records are bad. It's just. Yep. It's just me personally wanting only like the 12 or 13 that I really like.
And I gotta be consistent because I always say those are two things that I look for on albums that have rubbed me the wrong way of late, and that's when they're too long and they have too many features. So that's the one thing that scared me when I saw the track list. But then I pulled back and was like, if anybody could pull that off, I would have faith in Busta to be able to do that.
I don't need the forced girl records though.
But you know what? In the streaming era, you can just go ahead and make your own playlist and move those songs.
True.
From the rotation.
Let me see what's popping in the chat.
You know what was cool when I first listened to it though. When I first listened to it though, I hadn't looked at the track listing, and it also wasn't telling me who was featured on the track. So every track was a surprise for me initially.
Yeah.
Don't forget about the Rhapsody. Joint.
Oh yeah, that was super solid.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys see in the interview talked about the
shout out to Rhapsody for winning Rhapsody won Lyricist of the Year at the BET Hip Hop Awards. So shout out to Rhapsody.
That's dope.
Cool on the BET Awards, but I'm happy for her. Like I've been cool on the BET Awards for a long time. But I'm happy for her. Let's jump in the chat and see what's popping real quick before we switch the vibe. Nicole says it's kind of cheating to tap into all those nostalgic feelings with so many odes to older joints, though. I think there's a level of skating when there's so many.
He said, "Is it kind of cheating?"
Or is it kind of cheating? I'm sorry. Thanks, Long. I don't know about that.
With the ratio, as there are 22 songs, and would you say 5 of them? So maybe.
Oh, she said I asked. I didn't say. Sorry, because I don't want to steal on me next time.
Totally. I'm just kind of thinking through it.
Just doing what I do.
As long as it's done right, you know what I'm saying? Because some people can try to tap into that energy and totally miss the mark.
Yeah.
And I think the way he did it was pretty solid because there's still some new energy involved, but he definitely tapped into that Extinction Level Busta Rhymes type era. And I believe he did it in the right manner.
Naughty Pie said don't do that. Naughty Pie said the Q-tip feature was essential. Facts. It's one of my favorite joints on there. I think that was right on the money.
I don't know, man. I could definitely deal without the 4 scroll records. Like they were like they're. I mean, maybe it was the Mariah one. I honestly just listened to it. Didn't look at the track listing, so I don't know who was singing on it. I thought it was Mary J singing on one of the records. It was.
It was Mary J on one.
I didn't hate that one. I didn't hate that one. The other one, though, the other one was corny though. Whatever it was.
I'm cool. See the joint that was fire to me that was a sleeper was the one right after the Mary J joint called Freedom. That joint is cold. I like that one. He stuck that one in at the end.
Yeah, it was okay.
I like it. Like overall,
I didn't hate it. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, he was spitting on it.
Yeah, Busta's still nice at the end of the day. I think we can all leave from hearing that, listening to the album, agreeing that he's still cold. So,
if you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/bringingdowntheband and join our private Discord community with talks on hip hop, music, news, and everything else.